I'm Councillor Mick Barton, leader of this council. I would like to welcome you all to this meeting of the Cabinet, which is being broadcast live and recorded for publication. I thought it might be helpful at this opening Cabinet meeting of this new administration to outline how I plan generally, how I chair these meetings moving forward in a more business-like and streamlined way. Moving the recommendations, myself or the relevant Cabinet member will move the recommendations when introducing each report. We'll dispense of members seconding the recommendation. There is no legal constitution requirement to do so, and that will help with these meetings being more streamlined. In the debate, once a report has been introduced, I will then ask any opposition member who has made an agreed request to speak to an item to join us at the table, if that's all right with everybody. I see this as an opportunity for the opposition members to input and share their views rather than this taking a question and answer approach. If members do have specific questions on a report, my Cabinet members are more than happy to meet in advance of the meetings or afterwards to provide and arrange answers. This goes inside of my open door policy, which I will keep reiterating at various meetings and which I said at my first full council meeting. I may request the relevant Cabinet members to respond to issues raised at any point during our meetings of the Cabinet, which will bring officers to the debate to provide more input where I feel it is required. Following that part of the debate, I will then open it out to the Cabinet members in general. I may also bring the Deputy Cabinet members into the debate where I feel it also helpful and needed. Voting. At the end of every item, I will ask members to vote by a show of hands just to ensure clarity and that an item has been agreed. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Item 1, membership of the Cabinet. Can I ask members to note the membership of the Cabinet for the forthcoming municipal year and set out on the agenda, please? Item 2, minutes of the last meeting held on March the 13th, 2025. I am conscious that members are not present at this meeting that are here, so unless I hear anything to suggest otherwise, we shall accept these minutes as a true and accurate record. Yep. Item 3, apologies for absence. Drawn on. Item 4, declarations of interest. I don't need to read that. Item 5, the highways review. I will now hand over to Councillor Bert Bingham as Cabinet Member for Transport and the Environment to introduce the report and formally move the recommendations. Councillor Bingham.
I am pleased to introduce this paper today. The purpose of this report is to seek Cabinet approval for undertaking a member-led review of the Council's highway services, part of the new administration's commitment to review all aspects of this service area, focusing on the potential for improved outcomes for residents. Our highway network is used by the vast majority of residents on a daily basis, and the condition of our highway network is an area of concern that we are all well aware of. In financial year 2024-2025, the Council received over 60,000 highways-related queries and service requests. The report proposes a review of our highway services through a Cabinet working group. There are a number of potential lines of inquiry identified in paragraph 6, and our absolute focus during the review will be on improving the condition of our highway assets for the benefit of service users. We will work closely with officers in Nottinghamshire County Council and via East Midlands during the review, and it is intended to report back to Cabinet in the late autumn with the results of our work. I formally move the recommendations which are on page 9.
Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Can I invite Councillor Sam Smith to join us at the table, please, to share his views on this item?
Thank you, Leader, and thank you, Councillor Bingham, for the report. It's really great to see that highways is the #1 priority of this administration, and it's the first item on your Cabinet paper, because we know fixing the roads is the #1 priority of residents right across the county. I just wondered if I could seek clarity on a few points, if I may. Whilst you're carrying out the highways review, which is really important to look at ways to improving how we repair them, can we remain as a council committed to the existing capital programme, which is over £70 million of work to be carried out this year and this year alone. We've already advertised to residents what roads are going to be done, and the signs are already up right across the county. So it'd be really great to have clarity that that will continue in line with the current ways of repairing roads, whilst you are looking at different ways of doing it. So just to ask for that, please. Page 8 refers to a moving towards a right first time approach, which is something we did in 2021 when we did the review. I just want to stress that Nottinghamshire has a problem more than most other counties, particularly Lincolnshire, where once residents report a pothole for repair, we have to go out within 24 hours. And if it's a category 1, we do those useless temporary fixes that only last till the next rainfall, and they're completely useless. And what that does is, because we're tied into that insurance scheme, we're going out and out and out. We're wasting money, because on the money we could save from not doing that and actually put it into a programme where we do proper patching in 2 or 3 weeks' time. You can do more of that. Now, we're tied into insurance schemes for that. I would suggest that we pull out of that at the soonest possibility. And you'll be told during the review 100 reasons why that's not possible. Lincolnshire don't do it. They don't have that insurance policy. They have better roads than us. So I would encourage you to look at that. Just on members' highway request schemes, clarity that they'll continue. So at the moment, members can put forward 3 requests in their divisions. Obviously, as members, we know our areas better than anybody else. We're in them all the time. Can we just seek assurance that they'll be kept in as part of the review? And also, during the highways review that my team carried out in 2021, we focused a lot on roads and pavements, which was the right thing to do. I think now we've neglected flooding and drainage. So it'd be really interesting if we can include more focus on flooding, particularly in places like Farndon and Bassetlaw, where they're constantly being flooded, and we need to increase the focus on that. Just some clarity on those points, please. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for your comments. Sure. Councillor Bingham, we'll take them on board. We can come back to you with some answers. They're not specific, but a general overview, if that's all right.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to invite any views or comments or questions from Cabinet members.
I welcome the review.
Sorry. Go on.
I welcome the review, as the condition of our roads and pavements is so important to our residents. Anything we can do to improve things will be invaluable. Can you assure members and the public that the review will leave no stone unturned?
Absolutely. The report suggests a number of priority areas for us to explore and to investigate how we can bring both greater innovation and greater efficiency into our highway arrangements. Just as importantly, though, we will be exploring all feasible funding routes to increase investment. We know already that the real key for highways improvement is greater investment. So let's look creatively at how we might achieve that, as well as challenging our core funders, such as government and the East Midlands Combined Authority, to invest more.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? We'll now put that to the vote. Can I have a show of hands, please, for Councillor Bingham's recommendation? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 6, efficiency review of the Council's financial management, procurement and contract management arrangements. I will introduce this since it's mine. Summary of the report content. I want to seek Cabinet's approval to commence a full review of the Council's financial management, procurement and contract management arrangements, to establish a Cabinet working group comprising of members and officers to undertake this work. This review will take place over the summer and will inform the budget setting process for the next year and the future years. Since being appointed leader, I have taken senior officers to understand the financial challenges facing the county, and after recognising a need for the council to take possible steps to be financially sustainable and deliver the best possible services for our communities and the residents we serve. It is proposed that the council undertake a comprehensive efficiency review to help achieve this. The efficiency review will be undertaken by a multi-skilled team of officers and wider council resources working across the organisation, drawing on external enterprise where appropriate and in accordance with the legal and fiduciary duties. I had to find out what fiduciary meant this morning. If anybody wants to know, I'll tell you after. Costs associated with the review are anticipated to be existing staffing to be with existing staffing costs, which will be managed within the existing budgets. Output from the work will form part of the normal budget setting process for the council and inform the council's portfolio of the changes. I formally move the recommendation. Do we have any questions? Councillor Green.
I'll just ask, please, when this work will be completed.
I can't give you a definitive answer when it will be completed, but I anticipate that this initial work will be completed in time for the start of the deliberations of the budget 2026 and early autumn. We must remember the size of the budget and the numerous services we deliver in complex regulations and financial environment that the council operates within. I expect that this initial work may provide us with further targeted areas to review later. Let's take one step at a time. Next, sorry. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Can I invite Councillor Bestwick? I do apologise.
That's okay.
Sorry, jump the gun there, Rory. It's my fault. It's my chairing skills. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Council Leader and Cabinet colleagues, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this extremely important report. As I believe all administrations of government at any level should provide value for money services in principle, I support the Council's financial arrangements to ensure value for money for the taxpayer. This was an ongoing process under the last Conservative administration, and the annual savings that were made continued and improved services and kept taxes low. However, I do have some serious concerns regarding this review, and I'd like to raise some issues for clarity and accountability purposes. And I have got a lot to get through. I know I've only got 5 minutes, so I'll speak quickly, forgive me. Firstly, I want to speak on the investor save proposals. We've seen in the past how some local authorities, such as Mansfield, has used investor save schemes for projects like buying expensive hotels. These has ended up costing the taxpayer millions and delivering questionable returns. I want to be reassured that this review will not be used to repeat those mistakes on a larger scale. Therefore, what does investor save actually mean in this context? I would like you to provide examples of what successful schemes might look like. For example, what annual returns on investments would deem to be as successful. Will these projects be transparent, properly scrutinised, evaluated, and then the returns made public? And most importantly, who will be accountable if they go wrong and do not provide the returns required? I'd like a reassurance on behalf of all residents in Nottinghamshire that this won't become a backdoor to risky capital spending under the guise of savings, and that this administration will not be gambling with taxpayers' money. Next, I'd like to turn to the protection of public services. Firstly, I'd remind Cabinet that we as a council provide many statutory services to residents, including adult social care, education services, housing services, waste disposal and others. Next, I'd like clear assurances that key services will be protected from any so-called efficiency cuts. These include our libraries, our youth services and the protected bus routes. And as Councillor Smith's already alluded to, we have a record £72 million investment in our highways made by the last Conservative administration that we'd also like assurances will be unaffected. These services are vital to our community, and if they are under threat, residents deserve to know. Secondly, if you look at paragraph 13 under scrutiny, I was concerned by the phrasing of paragraph 13 that it says Cabinet may invite the overview and scrutiny and governance and ethics committees to be involved. In my view, these committees must be involved, not invited at the Cabinet's discretion. Democracy should not be sacrificed on the altar of expedience. This review has significant implications for every department and every resident, so it needs cross-party democratic oversight. I urge you, as the leader of the council, to commit referring the findings to overview and scrutiny and/or governance and ethics as a matter of course, not just as an option. Or you may risk your administration looking like it does not want an open and democratic process for taxpayers. But then can we just refer to paragraph 14 where it says extra costs? It states, a quote, presently it is not anticipated that any additional costs will be incurred. Therefore, if there are extra costs incurred, will this be transparent for the public and to the council? If so, will the extra spending be approved by Cabinet or by full council? Will it also be clear if any monies are paid to outside bodies and to whom they are paid? I'm nearly there.
You nearly let you 5 minutes, but I will let you finish with it being our first Cabinet.
So I'll be very quick. Next, just includes data sharing and external partners. Please ensure that we are very transparent. That all data used complies with GDPR. Sensitive data will continue to be protected, and the terms of the data sharing are made public. In conclusion, in short,
You don't have to rush it. I'll give you another minute.
Thank you. I support the intention to find efficiencies and improve value for money, but we must be open, transparent, and accountable in all that we do. Residents and frontline services cannot be the ones asked to carry the burden of poor decision making and ultimately be the ones who pay the financial price. I ask the Cabinet to provide clear assurances on these points and to strengthen the democratic oversight of this important review. Thank you.
Thank you.
4 minutes, 56 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move now back to the questions. You've got a question, Councillor John.
Yes. I'd like to know just how hands-on do you expect this working group to be?
Thank you for your question. We must remember that this is early days into our administration. We're all finding our feet in our respective roles. As new councillors, we bring a fresh approach to renewing the council and its services, and we play a vital role in supporting all our officers, as well as providing the challenge that we will see improvements when we can make them. Our savings can be delivered. This is what I recommend, that we use some external support. I recommend we use some external support to help us get into the process of review at pace. Given the size of the financial gap we have, we need this review to look forwards, not backwards, so we get a great new way of working and would be more efficient. Any more questions?
We've had concerns moments ago about external support, primarily around data protection, access to information. How do we expect to manage those concerns?
Thank you. We have taken legal advice on how to conduct this review and how to bring the external support in. We will be following that legal advice, so no information shall be shared that is sensitive. We will follow the data protection rules and will not breach our information governance on regulations. I have assurances that if we use external support, no data will leave this building or be shared. People should not be worried in any instance that their personal data is at risk. Any more questions? Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Leader. Pardon me. If we find some great ideas to be more efficient or reduce waste, what will we do with them and how quickly can we implement?
Thank you. Any ideas or savings or efficiencies or ideas generated through the review will come to me and the Cabinet and be shared with the Chief Executive, 151 officer and monitoring officer for validation before we decide what we want to do with them. If good ideas come out of the review and they are validated, then we'll either introduce them into our budget proposals for future years, or if possible, bring in a report to Cabinet for approval to implement them in the year following all our proper processes such as risk assessments for consultation where it's required. Can we now put that to the vote, please? Thank you. Seven. That's right. Item 7, East Midlands Combined County Authority priorities for Nottinghamshire County Council. This report looks to seek the approval of the Cabinet to several priority areas for collaboration between the Council and the East Midlands Combined County Authority. The aim is to continue and develop and deliver these priorities in tandem with EMCA. Since being appointed as leader of the Council, I have wanted to reaffirm the Council's commitment to EMCA. On one of my first meetings with the Mayor of the East Midlands Councils, I support EMCA and want to make sure that the Nottinghamshire benefits alongside all other parts of the region. By confirming these priority areas in collaboration with EMCA, it will give clarity to how the Council approaches the different EMCA committees. The priorities will also ensure that there is a direction given to our officers who are engaged in working with EMCA. This report of the priorities also acts as a point of reference for residents of Nottinghamshire, for them to have a better understanding of the work that the Council and EMCA are undertaking and how this work is helping to improve the outcomes for them and for their communities. This report recommends that the priorities set out in the appendix are approved for the development and the deliver with EMCA. I formally move the recommendation on page 3 of this report. I would like to invite Councillor Bruce Lawton to come and give his views, please. Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to speak. It's really important that obviously I have experience of EMCA and the operations. In fact, I was involved in setting it up along with Ben Bradley. So I'm well aware of all the intricacies and particularly the funding which is coming with that organisation. So I'd just like to really just make a few points, if I may. First one is with reference to your documentation. You're talking about investing in our major road networks to support faster, safer and healthier travelling and commuting. It appears to me as though we've omitted direct reference to the A614 and A46, but they are obviously the two main routes which we're looking at. Particularly, obviously, I'm interested in the A614. The Mayor has made £7.2 million available to the A614 scheme. But the A614 scheme, due to the delay which has been created by the Labour government at this present point in time, has meant that the ongoing costs are running were 27 million and now it's looking like 32 million to be able to build this scheme out. But my particular interest is obviously the Mickledale Lane Junction. We withdrew the Mickledale Lane Junction out of the initial scheme to make it more of an incentive for the Labour government to be able to support the scheme, which they have done. And I welcome support for the A614 scheme. The A46 is more difficult. The A46, Robert Jenrick has met with the Mayor, and the Mayor is talking about integrated transport. And her main rationale as far as some of the integrated transport funding is concerned. That worries me because the A46 requires support and absolute unequivocal support from the Mayor, and we're not getting it. And I'm really asking you to be able to hold her to account as far as that is concerned. It is a major problem as far as Newark is concerned and the viability of Newark as an economic hub in the northern part of the county. The next thing I just quickly wanted to talk about was you talk about a simpler waste network. remember that the HWRCs, the household waste recycling centres, are an integral part of our delivery and our recycling. And I'm particularly talking about the plans for the new Rushcliffe site as well. And the Rushcliffe site is a real problem as far as residents are concerned. And we allocated funding to be able to deliver that for our residents. I welcome your deliberations with the mayor, and please also implore on her the importance of our NOTS on demand service across the whole of the rural part of Nottinghamshire. It is essential to our residents for them to be able to gain accessibility to hospitals, schools, or whatever they need to do in their daily lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Are there any questions? Councillor Bingham.
The MCA priorities within the appendix to the report are noted. It shows there are a range of areas for collaboration between the council and MCA going forward in order to deliver for the people of Nottinghamshire. As leader of the council, which priority do you see as the most critical in delivering for the residents we serve?
Thank you, Councillor Bingham. To me, one of the most important issues our residents have come to me with is our transport and connectivity issues. Improving on transport links, infrastructure, investing in our local highways to ensure that they are fit for purpose, and putting in place a plan to do this is at the top of our agenda and our administration. So, to be able to prioritise alongside MCA, who will become the key transport funder for our region, it is the most importance to me. This is why I'm delighted to confirm that I will be the chairman of the MCA Transport Committee going forward, which is a key MCA decision-making authority in this area. This will enable me to ensure we are delivering on all our promises and priorities to improve the transport and highways infrastructure in our region. Any more questions? Sorry. Councillor Justice.
Not really a question, much more a comment.
Okay.
I, like Bert, I'm delighted to see the range of opportunities and priorities that the Council and MCA are committed to. In particular, I'm really pleased to see the wide range of commitments made in relation to health and to communities. And I really believe that MCA and the Council can be a successful regional partnership working in order to attract and deliver investment into local communities. I strongly believe this will help improve health outcomes for those communities and drive better ways of working and living across the board.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Not so much a question, more an observation, probably following on from Councillor Dawn Justice's contribution. We know that MCA is basically a transport and infrastructure vehicle, but I have no doubt down the line that health and wellbeing will probably become a subcommittee at some stage. And I'm delighted to see at the top of the list of health and communities nothing less than a promotion and introduction of water fluoridation to improve dental health. Many of you will know that I spent a number of years and culminating in bringing a document down to London, putting it on the desk of the Secretary of State for Health, asking for the fluoridation of the waters of Nottinghamshire and Nottingham City, £1.2 million. How delighted am I to see Derbyshire pulled into the D2N to a place where there are no fluoridation at all. 43,000 in Bolsover out of a population of over 1 million people. So it will only increase my mandate. So I'm hoping for your support, Councillor Barton, when I go down again to London with another mandate from 2.2 million people to reduce dental decay in children by 1/3. And kids have no choice about fluoridation in the water. Yeah. Kids don't make these decisions. Pregnant women in utero, children unborn don't make these decisions. They're for us as adults to make on their behalf and to actually protect their dental health, such as the crisis in dental care. I'm absolutely delighted to see this paper, delighted to see the priority, and look forward with Councillor Justice and others in actually driving this bigger agenda, bigger fluoridation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Peter, it is clear that you and Councillor Doddy will have an important role on the board and our cabinet colleagues on the various committees. How do you see MCA helping with the priorities for the adults and older people that we support?
Thank you, Councillor Answer. You're right to ask. I think MCA can play a vital role in supporting working age adults and older people. The biggest communities will come from, the biggest opportunities will come from the work MCA can do to prioritise and supply the new housing that meets the needs of people with disabilities for older people to live independently. I also think MCA has the opportunity to help more working age adults to be good in their jobs or working environments, and also in the voluntary and community sector. These sorts of actions will fit in with the priorities that the Cabinet are taking and asked to approve today. Thank you. Any more? Can we put that to the vote then, please? So we have a show of hands. Thank you, everybody. I will now move on to item 8, refreshing the Nottinghamshire plan. Councillor John Doddy.
Thank you, Leader. It was a great honour to be asked to refresh the Nottinghamshire plan, having previously been involved in 2 strategy years at Nottinghamshire County Council, 2019 to 2021 on health and wellbeing, and 2022 to 2026 on health and wellbeing, which is still an ongoing strategy. So it's not something I'm unfamiliar with. With any new administration, the new administration brings its own vision, it brings its own priorities, brings its own aims, and it's got its own idea of an outcome that it wish to achieve. And in order to do that, it's important to refresh, to renew, and to revise existing plans. This report seeks only to get permission for the formation of a working group amongst the Cabinet to review said strategy. The current strategy, which a lot of people will be familiar with, is the Nottinghamshire Plan 2021 to 2023. Be under no illusion, this was a child of its time. It was a post-COVID, it was a recovery plan, and we are now past that stage, and we need to look at the new administration's new priorities, etc. In addition to that, every year there's an annual plan that looks at what we do throughout the year to help us maintain our strategy, looks at the resources that are available to us and the pathways in which we can deliver our priorities for the new administration of Nottingham. So I recommend the plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Doddy. Can I ask Councillor Saddington to come and make a comment, please? Thank you.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to speak on this issue. I would like to emphasise the need for the Review and Scrutiny Committee to be formally involved in shaping the refreshed Nottinghamshire Plan. I suggest amending paragraph 8 to clearly state that the Overview and Scrutiny will be involved in the development process, not just given an option to review. Overview and Scrutiny plays a vital point in the running of the council. Having been a member of Overview and Scrutiny committees, I do know the importance of them. I would like to stress that scrutiny provides vital local representation. By that I mean residents, which have the right then to input on issues which affect adult social care, children's services, libraries, and other local priorities. We have to celebrate the achievements of the previous administration. I wish to acknowledge the positive legacy of the previous Conservative administration and how it laid the foundation for the future progress. This includes improvements to the youth services across the county, school building expansions and modernisation, including SEND schools, and including for the SEND schools, retaining their transport. Tech-enabled care in adult social care, driving efficiencies, and improving quality of life. Advancements in early intervention strategies helping reduce long-term demands on services. Delivery of the smarter working solutions and use of the digital tools in service transformation. And a commitment to continue the 18 family hub networks, many of which are in areas in places of need. Moving on to the importance of early intervention. To emphasise the critical importance of early intervention in both children and adult services. Highlight we must. These approaches reduce future demand and improve outcomes and are a key efficiency driver for the council. Could I ask if the refresh plan will retain a strong commitment to the early intervention across these services? Experience has shown that elected members know their communities best and should be fully engaged in the process. I urge that the plan's development be inclusive of wider member input beyond the working group, particularly at local divisional levels. I recommend holding wider consultation sessions with members during development to capture grassroots insights. I also call for the refresh plan to build on and not discard successful initiatives already underway. That would not be progress, it would be going backwards. There are things in progress and they need to continue. I ask for reassurances that projects such as expanding school places, SEND improvements and digital adult social care solutions will be continued and not deprioritised. Finally, I encourage the Cabinet to continue the good work of the previous administration. A refreshed plan should evolve, not abandon, effective strategies. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Do we have any questions for Councillor Doddy? Councillor Justice.
Well, we've already spoken about the importance of collaboration with MCA and the priorities of joint working around health and wellbeing. What opportunity do you think the development of a refreshed plan presents for improving the lives of people?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about MCA looking over 2.2 million and it's sort of transport and infrastructure, but also jobs. It's also economy. It's also growth and development, prosperity. And we know from every single statement in public health, since public health was first transferred into the county council in 2012, that these are the building blocks of health. These are the things, these are the vital determinants of health that actually give us the best start in life, give us the best opportunity, the best schooling, give us the best opportunity to get a job, to own a home, and to succeed as people. So on the wider scheme of things, MCA is quite critical in those building blocks, but nonetheless it runs in parallel with what we've got as an integrated care scheme as well, and we are members of the integrated care scheme to the ICP. And, I sit as the vice chair in the ICP, and the ICP links with place-based partnerships, which we'll all become incredibly familiar with, and they work through primary care networks, PCNs, and they work right down to the grassroots level of GPs and people that you see every single day in their world. So our part on that is the integration of the great opportunities that MCA awards to us. And I've made no secret of the fact that I expect down the line to get a health-related committee attached to that. Although nobody's made any promises to me, they're only aspirations. I see the continued benefit of the integrated care service, and I see this plan moving together to actually bring those two things together. And just to pick up on health hubs, the family hubs that we're setting up here in Nottingham, the 18 of them, we know from Sure Start Centre that every parent and every child that went into a Sure Start Centre had better bonding with their children, better school readiness, less falls, better breastfeeding, less attendance at A&E departments. We understand the physical importance of a hub, parents and newborn children, etc. And we'll be delivering, giving every child the best start in life through this plan with the support of the Cabinet and going forward. Thank you, Councillor Justice.
Thank you, Councillor Doddy, for that comprehensive answer. Have we got any more questions? Councillor Hana John.
I welcome the cross cabinet approach for being able to develop and refresh the council plan, and look forward to contributing the views of the residents I've heard on the doorstep. Do you have any early thoughts on how we can ensure that the residents' views can help shape the plan moving forward?
I think that there's a variety of ways which we get feedback from people through general surveys, we get feedback through voluntary organisations. We get incredible feedback through the Health and Wellbeing Board, which is represented by all the district boroughs, which is represented by Public Health, which is represented by Fire, police, crime, etc. So it's an incredible source of information, and we also get an incredible source of information through our joint strategic needs assessments, where we do assessments on a regular basis. It can often take 6 months. Most detailed assessments you'll ever see, courtesy of the Public Health Department, and I would advocate that anybody who hasn't read them, there's 42 of them live in Nottinghamshire Insight. And before I ever do a piece of work, the first thing I do is say, what has the council already got in for information sources, and that is the first point to where I look at. And you're right that we've only just come from a period of time 2 months ago when every single one of us knocked on tens of thousands of doors, and there is no greater opportunity to start a new agricultural plan than when we've already confronted residents face to face over many, many months and been told exactly what they want. And because we're going to give them that, that's why we're sitting here leading this administration. So yes, we will be going out to the public for surveys. Yes, we've got the feedback from them. Yes, we've got our public health and strategic needs assessments. But all of those will be culminating to put forward, dare I say it, the best plan Nottinghamshire has ever seen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Doddy. Councillor Kelvin Ryan.
Thank you. I totally agree with our speaker, Councillor Sue, and Councillor Hana, that obviously public input into this at the beginning is absolutely crucial. And in fact, to be fair to the previous administration, that was absolutely done, and there's evidence of it. When I surveyed my residents prior to this, it was very clear that the closing off of the loop of feedback back to the residents is not as good as it could be. Those that have read the Nottinghamshire plan, download from the website. It is a very high-level document. It's a strategic level document and doesn't have a great deal of operational detail in it. I would just urge that in this piece of work, closing off the communications loop, getting residents' input, absolutely. But I think what residents want to hear is how it's going to affect them absolutely locally at grassroots level in the community. I mean, just pick an example rather than just saying, OK, let's improve transport. I think residents would like to see the flesh on the bones of what that actually means. Now, you may have to therefore do a strategic and an operational document, but ultimately, I think if you've got to sell it back to the residents, they do need to understand what it actually means for them in their communities per se.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And one of the things that I'll say is that quite often the adverse conditions that people see in health and even see in their own scheme of work start from something that we think is quite innocuous. And I remember once trying to save the number 21 bus, and I described it as a vaccination against loneliness for the elderly. When you trap people in their own home and become lonely, then they become depressed. Then they call out the doctor. Then the doctor puts them on an antidepressant. Then they complain to the family about pain. They end up in a painkiller. Then they end up in A&E, and they end up in this vicious circle of healthcare, multiple sources of healthcare going in to look after those people when it's got nothing to do with the health and everything got to do with loneliness. Feeding back that, taking on board that type of information, etc., to try and improve the health and well-being. And health is defined by the World Health Organization. It's a complete physical, a complete mental and social well-being of the person. It's never lose the fact that it's the social well-being. And the most important thing about public health is it's not just information, it's an art and a science. We see so much of the science, Councillor Wright. What you're talking about is the art of communication, how we give that information back to the people. And that's what you'll see plenty of, Councillor Wright, during the morning.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions? Can we put that to the vote, please, with a show of hands? Thanks for everybody's input today. Thanks for everybody's attendance as well. Much appreciated. That's the meeting closed. Thank you.